When I first moved to Tulsa.
Yes.
And I love.
And then the other thing that I think.
You're the ideal rock.
Really?
Good morning, Janet. How's Dr. Chief?
I'm well. We love you here, Dr.
I am. We're hugging.
I miss you guys.
I don't know.
Well, how are you? Are we on the board? Well, that's.
I don't know if they were watching or not. Mississippi.
I'll give you a brochure.
Yes.
Hey, so good to see you.
Hi there, I got a good comment on you. Was I good?
Coffee and food. Yeah, coffee and food. Coffee and food. Coffee.
Okay, Deb, it's all yours.
Okay, so can I share screen?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, you will be on the screen.
Okay, and the slide, the PowerPoint will be on the screen
Yeah.
too?
But we need to get it on there, then I can figure out how to show it.
Okay. Okay, good.
Like your computer.
If we don't have an extra slot over here, I'll check this thing.
Yeah, there should be
There's a-
one there.
Yeah, this
Looks
one.
like there's.
I can no longer see.
I know.
Goodness, is that a USB?
I don't know.
No, oh, here it is.
Yeah, I think these are your two right here.
Okay.
Yeah, those are the two from what I
Yeah,
can see. There you go. I
Okay.
put on my glasses.
Now,
That helps.
PowerPoint is,
If you go to this drive right here,
I'll let you do it. I'll mess it up.
well, I might too. Let's see.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Well, at least the break on the wall.
I don't see my program that I know is just on here. Like I loaded it from my drive. Isn't that interesting? It's not on there.
Is it on? Is it on that?
Well, this is my program right here.
Well, can you double click it and see what comes up?
There it is.
It takes a village.
It does take a village.
And then I think you can click share screen.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, once we get there, I'll do that.
So I think it'll open now. If we don't click cancel,
Okay.
it should bring up PowerPoint and everything, hopefully.
Yeah,
Yay! And then
good.
the slideshow. You know how to do that.
Well, I don't want to start the slideshow yet because
Okay.
it'll start clicking
No,
before
it
we're ready.
won't. It won't.
It won't?
It
Okay.
shouldn't. Well, I say that, but I don't know.
And I never know which side of the mouse to click on this thing, so
See.
it's probably the left side since I clicked the right side. Okay. Okay, now I'll go.
Where did I hear that voice?
Wow, that's fancy.
Okay, but now I need to go back to Zoom. So
I'm not lying.
Oh, you're not in line?
No, I'm just standing here guarding my cup of coffee.
My belt broke, so I'm gonna have to put it so it looks like it's taking people out.
What you heard is all.
I had that help happen when I was at a conference. I couldn't leave. I was here and had extra belts. We wouldn't got me one.
Hi, Barb.
good morning, Barney.
I don't know.
I don't know how to do this. We might want to figure it
I
out.
have about 3 or 4 people who really, I don't have a concept, but I would be glad to learn it.
Well,
That has been the bugaboo for me. I've never could figure that one out.
I can't get the PC to work because I work on a Mac all the time, so.
Yeah. So I thought if anybody would know how to operate this tool.
Well, maybe in my former life. I can't even see on
Maybe your
here.
next term.
Yeah, right. Okay, there we go. Hello, Miss Ellie.
Good morning, Madam President.
About time.
How are you?
Are you just now getting
I
your
don't know.
president's out?
Yeah. That's okay. I didn't get the stub duck until halfway through.
It's not
Charter.
on the place all the time and sneezing on me, and, you know.
Official, finally. Thank you.
She's younger and you'll be younger. And at conference that year, so I just like got stuff together and
Hey, stranger.
we were joking around. We have been here and we started that Rotary After Dark social plan and all the clubs here. And we had had a weird the next day I was like, just kidding.
Wonder how many people are.
Hello, Don.
We changed chairs.
Hi, Barbara.
How are you this morning?
My nephew's living.
I'm kind of lazy.
You're lazy? That's okay.
After doing Jay's Zoom meeting last night, I said, I think I'll just Zoom this one this morning.
I just saw you twice yesterday.
Oh. Hi, Bill.
Would you like to present something like this today?
Sure.
And I have to check with Carolyn to see who else. How about you want to present this one today?
Sure.
And,
Just getting all caught up here, aren't we?
and I need to find out if Laura gets one of these or she sells red bands. She's been a past president, she's been an AG, she ought to have to believe that.
Sure, I have one, yeah.
I did. Thank you,
Who was that? Somebody in a pickup truck almost hit me. I got an issue about well, yeah. Soon as I left, you were talking about, they were talking about shovel putting down the kid. I thought, oh, boy.
I was trying to like go back and Okay, so like, so we weren't doing this before, it's not even like, and it made me, there's like, I was like, I love her girl, Okay. Yes, it is. And I will, so I was, reface it. Sometimes just make anything. So, it's the first time I've done that training. I think it went really well. But I did record it. I sent it to Steve. I'll go in and record it to him. Because he was like, I wanted to do it also. I'm sure that's fine. So, I think we might just send our recording link to Kit and have him put it in the newsletter. So that way, yeah, because you and Steve, recorded and it was. And so I prefaced it with just letting you guys know, this is, you guys are my guinea pigs. Okay, I wonder you. No, I did the same thing. I had 3 numbers. Yes.
I'm good, Bill. Good to see you, my friend. No. No. Okay. Is that the wireless mic that they got to do with it?
Well, we know who's on the other side of this, don't we?
Well, Don's here. Hi, Don.
Steve, how you doing?
Hey, Tim.
I'm gonna, now that I need to wear a mask, I might be on late because I've been walking about 4 or 5 miles. To the store, turn around, back to my house, get my gas, go back to my house.
We got our big fundraiser once a year, on Saturday, so we're close to a week. But we set up, we had the big production. It's called the 80 Year Ball, and we're celebrating the anniversary of actually last year. The drum staff for that year. So we're doing good. I know we're still kind of warming up.
I think it's supposed to work that way.
There. Oh. It may be a setting. I don't know. It's plugged in.
Yeah. Don, can you hear us?
I talked to Don earlier and he could hear us. We've got her, the gal's presentation in there.
Okay.
And that's the Zoom screen. Oh,
Yeah,
you know.
there was some setting. Hi, how you doing?
Good morning, Dr.
Hi,
President.
how you doing?
Hey, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
They're going to give me credentials Thursday, and I will start my work next week.
Good.
So,
That's great.
do you do telemedicine?
I haven't been. Well, I'm just in my background.
I want to learn how to do it because it's a good thing to pay.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good thing to have, you know, to be able to put on my CV,
Yeah, definitely.
especially nowadays. I thought my job was going to give me a pushback. She was like, she was so afraid that I was calling to tell her I was quitting. She was gonna be
Morning, Tim. Hey, Don. Hey, I got to show you guys something. No, not you. Stop.
Morning, Don. Can you hear us? Good.
There we go. Hey, Don, I want you to see this. This is the view from my parents' porch. It's raining, so it's a mess, but it's usually much prettier. You can see.
Tamara, you're too cool.
Well, I'm here in Michigan at Dad's house. So
That is so cool where you're sitting this morning.
it is. Hi, Gifty.
How's your mom doing?
Mom's doing great. She's doing amazing. So we're very happy. Thank you for asking. How are you guys doing, Don?
I think I'm gaining. I say I think. I am gaining every week. I actually went for a walk yesterday. And not much more than a block, but I made it.
Guys, it looks like there's only the three of us on Zoom today.
Hi, Gifty.
Hi. Where is everyone? I think I should be going in person now. I'll be the only one very soon.
Well, Gifty, I'm glad you're on and Don's on because I'm out of town. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gifty, have you ever been to the Sault Ste. Marie in northern Michigan?
No.
That's where Tamara is this morning.
Oh my God.
No, I'm in Traverse City, Michigan.
Well, it's the same thing. Sault Ste. Marie, Traverse City.
That's a little north. Look, Gifty. Let me show you. I just showed Don. This is the back porch of my parents' house. It's raining, so it's not as pretty, but.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yes, this bay here is West Grand Traverse Bay.
And they can live there the whole winter?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So Gifty.
Tamara, I would love to live there. I would love to have a house there. That's pretty.
I wait, Gifty, all year to come up here and, you know, so this is where I was born and raised, but to be part of this. And I'll have to send you some pictures that I took last night of the sunset. Oh, it's awesome.
Break up the party. It's time to start Rotary. Carolyn, you're already. Pick it up, please.
It's not on.
Let's turn it on. It's on. It says it's on.
It's not working.
Okay, kids, put the batteries out.
No. Nobody's gonna go check on it.
Hey, Tamara.
We have people online too. Welcome to everybody.
Hi, Stan.
Hey, Don. How are you?
Fine. Where are you, Stan?
We're in Tulsa. We're in
You're
Tulsa.
home.
Yeah, we're at home. Are you all over? All over the?
Did you happen to see the meeting last week with Scott bragging about?
Yeah, I did. He's a great guy. He's still talking. He was making that up.
Power on Zoom. Identify yourself.
The meeting started.
Okay, the meeting has started and we're going to have a moment of silence. Please remember all of the people that are suffering in all countries where there's war and everything going on, and then pray for your individual things that are going on in your life, and bless everybody. So let's have a few minutes of silence. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's time for Megan Saturday Arms. Sounds like a party in here.
It is. The sunrise party. All right, good morning, everybody. Everybody's doing well? Yes? All right. Well, do we have any guests? I mean, we have some returning guests, but it's an exciting day. Scott? Oh, yes? Megan here?
Miss Miranda is here again. From Beth Mountain School in New Mexico.
All right. Welcome back, Miranda. All right. Any other, I don't think I saw anybody else come in. It's an exciting day for us, so. All right, what about birthdays and anniversaries?
Well, yeah. I have my Rotary anniversary on the 22nd, which I forgot about until they published in the newsletter. So I think 2 years, I think. I'm not sure.
Joy Albercheck, Public Accounting, retired, and I'm going to be 66 on Saturday.
Over here, you realize.
I'm Martha Lowe, and I have a business called Truth Connections that helps seniors find senior living. And my happy buck today is as a result of Bill here not being able to make a meeting, a Zoom meeting. Bill, I got a little email that said, Bill Valley cannot make this meeting. Will somebody please sit in for him?
Oh,
He's
that
looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, I just got it.
Okay, and I'll tell you, I got to sit in on a visioning meeting, a Zoom visioning meeting, and it was so exhilarating. 3 hours long on Zoom. I know, am I dedicated? But it was so exciting, and they are going to come and talk to us. And we're gonna, even though we are the best club in the world, you know, you can always improve yourself, right? So they are going to be coming and talking to us, and I'm so excited for all of us that we have the opportunity to do this. So that's my happy buck.
All right,
Oh,
I'm sorry. Even better.
Are there any other birthdays or anniversaries?
Welcome to Classification Insurance on Friday. My wife and I had our 38-year anniversary. I paid for it. We had a nice dinner at Ruth's Place.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right, I'm happy that.
Bill Lawson, Authority Research, and this past week, I chased, last weekend, and up until Monday, I chased 5 oxygen concentrators all over the place, trying to help out a Rotarian in Chattanooga who wanted to send them to India, and the first one arrived as I got up this morning and checked my email. So, anyway, I feel pretty good about that. You know, it's very expensive to ship them. It's a lot more than they are actually worth. But I got it from Vanessa and I, came through.
All right. So I'm back. And my happy buck is that Monday was the anniversary of my bike wreck where I broke my back. And so anyway, I got out on my bike on Monday and rode for an hour on Riverside and survived. And so anyway, it was, someone asked me if I had PTSD while I was on the bike, and I said, no, I was really, you know, in a nice place emotionally and stuff. So Anyway, I'm back.
Wow.
Ortega Computer Consulting, and I have 2 happy bugs, but I've got so many more than that, but I'm glad to be back in person, finally, seeing all the smiling, beautiful sunrise faces. And my daughter is engaged, and he did such a wonderful job. It just gives me goosebumps every time I think about it. He was so romantic, rose petals and red roses. Oh, it was, he did the best. He's now in charge of the wedding. Looking at venues, and she is also her master's in social work.
Yeah, great.
Everything out of the way in one weekend.
Scott Cyrus, pediatrician. I was texted just now by Stan Grock. He's on Zoom and he is celebrating 47 years of marriage to Saint Barbara.
Saint Barbara.
Yeah, Saint Barbara. On the 22nd of May, so yes.
And he's
he
lived.
sent the checks in the mail.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, you heard that one before, haven't you? Anyway, my happy buck is kind of a happy, sad buck. One, from Megan's standpoint, this is Megan's last week she has to put up with me, so that's the happy side of it. And the sad side is this is Megan's last week with me, so. Anyway.
Carol Ward, classification nursing administration, retired, and I got a makeup of about $10 out of that because I kept, telling things on Zoom, and I never sent in my dollar, so I just need 10 back. Okay. And it's wonderful being back. Heart's doing great. We have been chasing grandchildren all over the place. Last night, they're in their ending of their fast pitch softball and baseball. And so we went from watching Wes play, and they always looked to see if we're out in the crowd, and he was warming up to bat, and he saw Papa, and he goes, like that. And then the girls were doing double headers, and we were going to leave a little bit early to take care of some business. And Audrey runs up and says, Grandma, you can't. I'm on deck. So anyway, it's been a real fun, exciting thing. And Beth is going through her nursing degree. She's about halfway through. And so life is good, and Heart misses you all. And it's just nice to be back and see you all. It's just a wonderful family.
We're gonna go 5 for 2. Jeff Roberts Wireless Telecommunications. Microphone, sorry. Jeff Roberts Wireless Telecommunications. One, we got our son home safe after a successful first year at OU. Yeah, 4 points and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And number 2, big excitement for me is I'm making a job change where I'm wanting to open a new office and establish operations for a wireless telecom engineering and services firm here. So,
Okay, I have a 5 in here. It probably should be more than that. We went to Colorado over the weekend, and my number 2 granddaughter graduated from Colorado School of Mines, summa cum laude. She was awarded the Distinguished Scholar from the physics professors, and they're giving her scholarship for her master's and a teaching assistant job for the fall. So we are extremely proud grandparents. So.
Is there anybody online besides, I think we got Stan. Stan, congrats. Anybody else online have a happy buck? Nope. Oh, Gifty does. Okay, Gifty, go off mute. Can you talk? Oh, can we? Oh, here we go. Wait. Yes.
No, I do not.
You do not. Okay, sorry, I saw you waving.
She just liked to say
She
hi.
was just saying hi. Okay.
Well, I don't foster it.
I know. Any, oh, yes.
I forgot to say one thing, sorry. Okay. Y'all know who I am, but I also have a passion for missions, and we've done a whole lot for Kone. But Gifty is doing, getting ready to send over a lot of stuff to Ghana. And so if you all have any sewing materials, anything like that, any fabric, anything like that they can use, this is one of the girls' private days kits that I'm sending over so that they can have that, so that they don't miss school. That this is really important for babies and for young moms, for all ages, that they need sewing material so that they can sit there and the women can start their own industry and be self-sufficient. So please get in contact with Gifty, or you can take it out on your day for BJ and just say that it's for Gifties. And then also if you have eyeglasses that are just hanging out in the drawers, please give those to her also. Thank you.
Are these going to Toto or?
Ghana.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna turn it back over to our Brad. Oh, I don't have a joke today, I'm sorry. I was up late last night.
I have a joke for you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Joy.
Yeah,
Joy to the
use
rescue.
the microphone so we can hear Joy.
I will.
Okay.
So this is a true story. So Fred worked at now the Holly Frontier Refinery, but years ago it was a Texaco refinery, and then it was Sinclair. But there was a man there, and he was a sweet man, but he was dyslexic, and so he had a lot of trouble a lot of times. And so he'd look at Michelob, you know, and he'd think, okay, and he called it a my copier, and debris was Derbis. You know, it just things would switch around for him, and I'm mildly dyslexic, so I understand. But he went to vacation, and he went to the beach, and he came back and they said, "EO, how was your vacation?" He goes, "Oh, it was great. You know, water was good, the beach was pretty." He goes, "But the dangest thing." And they go, "What is that?" He goes, "Well, there was this guy, and he would throw this thing, and the dog would run and catch it and bring it back to him. And then he'd throw this thing, and the dog would run and catch it and bring it back to him, and he could just throw that thing." And the guy goes, "You mean a Frisbee?" One of the guys said, "You mean a Frisbee?" He goes, "I don't know what kind of dog it was."
Okay, we've got a lot of road business to do, so we need to get on with it. Pay attention, guys. This is not a party yet. Okay, we are getting ready to induct 2 new members into our Sunrise River group. So, Evan and Alex, if you would come forward, please. And our presenters also, Tim and Carolyn and Kelly and Lena. Perfect. Okay. Alex and Evan, please stand in front of the podium. Everybody facing the members. You can do your back to me. It's okay. Okay, you are about to become quiet. Quiet.
Jim, do you want to cover the lens before I get this chance?
You are about to become the newest members of the Rotary Club of Tulsa Sunrise. The Rotarians who proposed you, Bill Bowen and Paul Adamson, paid you a great compliment. They saw in you those characteristics which make a fine Rotarian. All the responsible committees, the board, and the members of Sunrise Rotary have approved you for membership. And now, 4 of our past presidents will formally induct you into Sunrise. Tim?
Okay. Sure, I can see you. Alex and Evan, welcome to the Rotary Club of Tulsa Sunrise, where you will be called by your first name. I stand before you symbolically
to lead you into a great new adventure in your vacation, in your community, and to your fellow man and woman. You are joining about 50 Rotarians in Sunrise, about 900 in the Tulsa area, more than 4,000 in District 6110, about 1.2 million Rotarians throughout the world, who belong to more than almost 36,000 Rotary clubs in 220 countries. All are business and professional people, banded together by a common ideal of service. When you and all new members enter Rotary, you represent your business or professional classification. Accordingly, within that classification, you will offer your time and talents and will represent Rotary's goals and standards to your family, friends, associates, to our community, and to the world. Welcome. Thank you.
Alex and Evan, welcome to our wonderful Sunrise Club. In 1905, Paul Harris, a young lawyer in Chicago, experiencing the loneliness of a big city, wanted to become acquainted with some men in other lines of business. So on the evening of February 23rd, 1905, he met three friends and discussed the idea. They joined together, rotating the meeting place among each other's offices, and thus Rotary came to be. Their numbers grew to be too many to meet in just one office, so a luncheon club was formed to live in larger facilities. From that initial purpose of seeking good fellowship, soon came the realization that giving service to others was the cement that bonded the young Rotarians together with ongoing and lasting purpose. Note that you have now heard two important tenets of Rotary: fellowship and service.
Hi, Alex. Hi, Evan.
Hello.
I'm going to stand behind you. Okay.
You worried.
Welcome to Sunrise. I speak from behind you to symbolically urge you forward in a great new adventure, to become more than a member of Rotary, to become a Rotarian. First, there are things you must learn. Primary is the object of Rotary International, the preamble of which is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise. Also, remember this: he profits most who serves best, and service above self. And of course, the famous four-way test of the things that we think, say, and do. Will everyone join me? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And of course, is it feasible? Most important in Rotary is participation. And this begins with your regular weekly attendance. Make Rotary an important part of your week. Learn the many ways to make up attendance and visit other local clubs. To appreciate the broad scope of Rotary, attend district assemblies and conferences, and if possible, an international convention.
Thank you, Carolyn. Good morning, Evan. Good morning, Alex. I stand beside you, representing the members of this club, to walk with you in this great new adventure. Yeah, can the sponsors step up and do the pins? Here is your lapel pin. Slowly coming out of its. Nails, I'm sorry. It's 7:20. Let's go.
Prepare.
Okay. Here is your lapel pin. Coming nearly there.
We're trying. We're inexperienced.
Closer and
Closer.
There it is. All right.
One done.
Oh, that.
And your
This
badge,
one goes in. Yeah.
reminding you of who you are and how we will know to call you by your first name. Here is your membership card. With these cards, you can attend any Rotary Club in the world. You've been accepted as our newest member. For each new member, Rotary is a new adventure. And of course, you will get out of it only what you put into it. Strive to do your best. Strive to do best that which has been tried by many. You can become our greatest Rotarians. You are committing to participate in our new member training program, to serve on one or more projects and committees, and to become acquainted with and enjoy the fellowship of these Rotarians and others among the more than 1 million throughout the world. If you're willing to take this step in Rotary, please step forward with me and receive your official welcome from your fellow Rotarians.
All right.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Thanks. You're gonna love it. Yes, you're in. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Negative. Thanks, Scott. Yeah, no way. Thanks, Carol. Dr. Bill. Bill, you're needed back. Ellie really got it. I know.
Okay, guys, thank you.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, underground. Party cakes. What up?
Okay.
Very good. Thank you. Very good. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I never knew we had until now. Now, this is pretty cool. I've never seen these pins before. They're sponsor pins. If you sponsor a new member in the Rotary, you get a sponsor pin. So a sponsor pin for Paul, a sponsor pin for Bill. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, okay, two more quick pieces of business. Linda Ortega, you were not here when Jay presented your Paul Harris Society certificate, so if you would come up and get this, as well as your Paul Harris +7 pin. It's pretty cool. You can get it up and it's got 2 buttons in there.
That's nice.
So, and I forgot your chevron, it's in my other person home. I'll get that to you, thank you. Is Laura Garrett here today? Laura's not here, she's traveling. Okay, Cole, one more time, up here. We've got a badge for you, Cole, that tells who you are, what you do. Rotary District Administration, Cole, you can keep your other one. Tim Holder, past president.
All right.
Okay. And I finally got my president's badge. Only one more month to go. Okay. Okay, real quick here, because I don't want to take any more time out of Deborah's presentation. June 25th will be our change of ducks. It'll be out to the Spender Club. It'll be $45 for guests. Rotarians are paid for. Right after this meeting, we're going to have a short fundraiser meeting. Jesse, thank you for taking over the editorship of the Sunriser.
They said July 1st, I guess.
He's like, wait a minute.
And then we didn't worry about, did you have your arm in a sling or something when you came in, or no?
No, yeah.
Oh, you're back, never mind. Okay. That is all I have, so I'm going to let Carolyn come up now as we're hearing today.
Okay, can you hear me better like this or like this?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not gonna talk about the normal stuff, but I'm gonna give a quick report on Medical Supplies Network, because I think we all need to know what's going on over there. And I'm gonna do it quickly. You saw the note in the fundraiser that we only had one volunteer showing up at MSNI this past Saturday. BJ has been in desperate need of help at the warehouse. Due to COVID, you know that the volunteers have had their own space to work and that he has air conditioning for us there now. The volunteer area is full and the warehouse is almost full of items that need to be sorted and put onto inventory sheets. Coney, Dr. Foley, has shipped his 10th container to Togo and it arrived on May 4th. He was not notified of the arrival and has incurred extra charges, which, you know, he pays for all out of his own pocket. BJ is helping him with the negotiating to keep the charges from getting worse. Tulsa Sunrise has sponsored a container to Cameroon through Sunrise. Donations on the GoFundMe page are on our club website. And if you don't know what the club website name is, please check with me and I'll let you know. You can still donate through the website or make a donation directly to Medical Supplies Network to assist in the shipping charges for our container. Any amount of money will help fund the project. The Sunriser who passed away, Don Walker, he had a fund and he sent a check in that was also included for this project. And I think it was around $5,500, wasn't it, Barbara? Okay, and that was to ship our Sunrise container to Cameroon. BJ is preparing to begin loading the Sunrise shipment. He's preparing it now. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it before he starts doing that. He is waiting for the freight forwarder, checking to see if prices have gone up and to make sure that the ports are open. Once he has a booking day, he will let us know he is ready for help on our shipment. It will be on Tuesdays or Thursdays in the morning around 9 or 9:30 is when he's going to need the help to do that. Even if you cannot help load or lift anything, he said he would appreciate help with monitoring his work. So in case he gets hurt, since he doesn't have a cell phone with him, there'll be somebody there to help him. So even if you can just come and sit and watch, he said that's okay too. Sunrise can schedule another work day in June. Choices that he has given me are June the 5th, June the 12th, or June the 26th. Can I get a show of hands on each one of these dates now to let me know, this is all on a Saturday, to let me know what you think would be a good day, kind of knowing. So June the 5th is first.
5th is out.
5th is out for you?
No, it's correct.
Okay, so we can't have the 5th. Okay, what about the 12th? Okay, what about the 26th?
That's ducks.
Okay, we're gonna do the 12th, and I'll let you
We
know
tried
that.
not to have it on day when we do the food bank. That was a conflict this week.
Well, can I talk with you after, because we just need to coordinate so I can make sure that we get a date on the calendar for Sunrise.
Third Saturday. food bank.
Okay. That's hard for me to remember, I'm old. Okay. Okay. Let's see. A reminder that Sunrise, I also wanted to remind you that Sunrise already has a date scheduled for July through Gifty Vincent, Dr. Vincent, who's on the internet there. And that's for July the 31st. So if there's a conflict with that, we need to get that changed as soon as possible. In the meantime, BJ needs any help we can give him during the week, just for the other stuff that he has going on. If you will call to schedule with him on the day you would like to come and the time you would like to come, because he has to get ready for you. He will have his work planned and your project will be there waiting for you. I want to do a shout out to our own physician here, Janet Cheek. Janet, BJ told me that you had called and scheduled with him and spent time sorting out orthopedic equipment in the volunteer area. He said that equipment had been there forever and he needed somebody with your expertise to do that. So a big thank you and a round of applause for Janet. The issues associated with the virus have made volunteer service scarce. for MSNI. In January, BJ only had 5 or 6 volunteers from the Oklahoma Wesleyan College. In February, he had the Bartlesville Daybreak Rotary Club. They had 4 or 5 members. In March, he had 10 one day and from Union Schools, and again in April from Union Schools. And they all showed up, which is another problem that he has. Sometimes they schedule and they don't show up. May was Tulsa Sunrise Day, which we just had last Saturday, and of course we only had a couple of volunteers there. We need more. He also had 6 people from Bartlesville Daybreak Rotary again this month. The WTI nurses also called and volunteered 2 or 3 times since the beginning of January. BJ has asked to have help during any weekday. He has a full warehouse and is running out of space. Since Cancer Treatment Centers is scheduled to close on June the 1st, BJ has been picking up pallets of donations 2 times per week since we heard this news. St. Francis Hospital has been sending over pallets of medical supplies on a continuous basis. Again, BJ needs help during the week. He will be working on preparing to load the shipment to Cameroon, which is our shipment, on Tuesdays or Thursdays. This is a reminder, at around 9 or 9:30 in the mornings, and he will let us know when that can begin. And one extra note, which Bill Lawson already said, Bill Lawson, I believe Barbara Grog was involved requesting oxygen concentrators for India. What a need. Okay, and I'm going to introduce our speaker now. Our speaker today is co-founder of Sister India. Sister India, to protect and uplift impoverished Indian women and girls, some of the most oppressed people in our world today. As Sister India's executive director, she leads a community of supporters serving to end child marriages and child labor from a barrier of prevention against trafficking, lift families above the poverty level, and make sure girls thrive and are in school. Deb earned her law degree from Harvard Law School, and one of her favorite movies series is Legally Blonde. I mean, you've all watched that. I have, because I'm blonde. She received her BA in political science from Hastings College, where she met her husband, Stuart. Stuart and Deborah moved to Tulsa over 30 years ago when he began to work for Homer Campaign, where he continues to serve today. They have 3 delightful grown sons and 1 wonderful daughter-in-law. Please, Sunrise, help me to introduce and to meet Deborah Spencer.
Okay, thank you. How many people are Legally Blonde fans? Oh my goodness, I love that movie. I can watch it all the time.
How about the paper chase?
Yeah, it's been a while. I will need to watch that again. Yes, yeah, that's a good reminder. My husband got his first COVID shot. He was on the 3rd round, and I headed to California for our nephew's wedding and came down with COVID. So I've been told I am immune for 90 days. That's what I'm seeing on the CDC website. So I think I'm okay to take my mask off, and I think we can all hear better. So thank you. Thank you so much for having me here today. When I first moved to Tulsa, I started meeting Rotarians, and I always admired your group. And being here now, I understand better why. It's really an amazing group, and we're doing wonderful work all over Tulsa and around the world. And so I want to thank you as a group for what you do and who you are. I also really want to thank you for your support for Sister India. Your sponsorship made it possible for a whole class of 30 students in Kerala, India, to meet. And we had matching funds available and doubled your gift. So there are now 2 classes in India that we're able to meet because of your support. And we're so very, very grateful to you for that. Thank you. I'm going to put my glasses. I think we're.
It's on there, it may not be on the screen.
Oh, okay. Well, while we're doing that, I had really hoped this would be a time that I could begin by sharing all of the wonderful things that your students are learning right now. But unfortunately, as you know, this is a really terrible time in India. Last summer, India experienced its first COVID spike, and they seem to have fared it relatively well. We were really amazed that it went so well last summer. But things have not gone so well since. In February, their Ministry of Health declared that they had defeated COVID, and almost soon thereafter, the cases started increasing. And I'm sure you've seen the graphs. Their spike was about 4 times what it was last summer. And it hit India like a tsunami. Their healthcare system was completely overwhelmed. You can see pictures of ambulances lined up outside hospitals. People we know who needed to go to the hospital had to wait at least 2 days to get in. And as you know, with COVID, sometimes that's too long. Often people had to bring and still have to bring their own oxygen tanks to get into the hospital. Although I'm sure that the shipments going in are helping with that. The needs are just, they seem to be overwhelming. It's a really frightening, heartbreaking time for the people in India. We're grateful to the News on 6. They reached out to us last week for a feature about the pandemic and our efforts to raise funds for medical supplies relief. In Good Times, studies say that only 37% of Indian women and 67% of Indian men ever access health care. And of course, among the impoverished people that we serve, those numbers are much lower. They are very unlikely to be able to receive any kind of health care, and most likely to be overlooked. There's always good news, and you are part of the good news in India. Because of you and your support, all of your students, I'll talk loud. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
That's
I'll
what
talk loud. Because of you and all of your students had their healthcare units, local doctors volunteered their time, taught them about basic healthcare, taught them about COVID, how to recognize it, how to defend themselves against it, and gave them the information they need that they wouldn't otherwise have to survive during this. Of course, your classes are locked down now and they're not meeting, but we're hopeful that when this pandemic is under control, we'll be able to open them again with distancing and precautions and masking, and that they'll be able to finish their school year. And we will keep you updated on their progress. Usually about now we would be coming out with our first report, but of course that schedule has been delayed, so we will send you more information when we have it. Okay, can we advance the screen? Are we okay on the screen share?
Let's see here. Share PowerPoint.
How many children are in our class?
30. And they're, the average age, we do have, the students are welcome to bring their children. So, okay, great. Yeah. Whoa, there are 30 students in each class, and the average age is 15 to 35. So they're the women and girls who never had a chance to go to school. But they also often will see kids in the class. So it's a sweet scene when you go into a class. So why Indian women and girls? Why of all the causes in the world did we decide to focus on that? Well, in 2018, the Reuters Foundation declared that India was the most dangerous country in the world for women. And they cited the high risk of sexual violence, slave labor, trafficking, and then a lot of customary practices that are illegal, but they just continue despite that. Forced marriages, female infanticide, gross neglect, marital rape, dowry abuse killings, sex-selective abortions. It's just a difficult environment to be a girl or a woman in India. Just last year, the BBC said that the Dalit, you've heard of the untouchables in India, the Dalit women and girls are one of the most oppressed people groups in the world because of these practices. So that's why we decided to focus on India and for women and girls.
So I have a video to play now. Is there, right here, this button? This video will show some of the things that they face. I think if you just click anywhere on that screen. Oh, there's an arrow below. This is the first slide down.
Okay.
Sorry. That should be, well, there's an arrow on the left.
Oh, let me get rid of this.
I think there's an arrow down here. If you, there should be. Well, that's interesting. There's not. Okay, well, we won't show the video.
Okay.
It's on our website. If you go to sisterindia.org, you can watch the video. It's a 3-minute video. So the next slide. Technology is so much fun. No, I'm the best.
And he's good.
Right now.
There we go. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. So education is a powerful tool to bring change. I think we would all agree. And in just a moment, I'm going to share some of the wonderful things that happened during one of our recent school years. As I said, most of our students are 15 to 35 years old. They've never had a chance for education because they were so poor that their families needed them working out in the fields, or their family told them education is not for girls. You're going to work, your brother's going to go to school. And as you can see, sometimes our students are much younger. This is a young girl we had a couple of years ago in a class in Central India, and I love her determination to learn. This is the attitude of our students. They're like, I feel like I'm in a dream. I always wanted to go to school. I never had an opportunity. And so if your students were standing in front of you, that's what they would say is, you've given me this opportunity that I always wanted to have. Thank you. Another girl called Lily was 12 years old when she came to our class in northern India, and she was a rag picker. And if you've ever seen the pictures of the children crawling across those massive mounds of trash, that's what Lily did during her days to earn money for her family. And her older sister was in our class, and when she realized she could bring Lily along with her, she did, and Lily started learning because she wanted to be a doctor. And she, like this young woman, was just so determined. And she's since graduated the craft class, and she can read, write, and do math now. And she also brought the other rag picker children into the class. So it was a full room that we were happy to welcome them and glad they were there so they could learn too. Lily also knows now that child marriage is illegal and that she doesn't have to suffer that. Her sister and their community all know how to prevent trafficking of vulnerable girls like Lily. And Lily is still writing her story. She's getting further education, and I hope one day she can be a doctor. So our students meet for 2 hours a day, every weekday for a year, and the classes are very holistic. There are a lot of additional units. In addition to learning to read, write, and do math, students also learn basic life skills like health and education. They also learn the importance of educating daughters as well as sons, how to prevent child marriages, and the dangerous signs of trafficking. They also learn how to run simple home-based businesses. They might make soap, they might make candles, but with their math skills and their basic learning, they know how to go out and sell something and make a profit and help their family. By the end of the year, on average, our student family incomes increased by 55%. And we see that most of our families, students, are below the poverty level at the beginning of the year and have increased above the poverty level by the end of the year. And we have not ever tracked them beyond. We hope to do that sometime to see what they can do with their learning, but we know that it really makes a huge difference for them. They also learn how to plant home gardens to grow healthy foods, and they plant trees during their environmental unit. All of this is taught by local Indian volunteers who receive the curriculum, the training, and a small stipend with your support. Local doctors provide the healthcare unit, and local business people help with the small business training. So it's really a community-wide effort that began when you stepped forward to provide the funds to train them and make it possible for them to do it in that village, or we also work in some of the slums in India. By the end of the year, faces that walked in downcast and felt that they were worth less than the other people around them are filled with joy and hope and courage. And so you are transforming lives in India, and we're grateful to you for that. So this is from our Mother's Day campaign last year, and we were communicating how, sometimes people wonder, well, why are you educating the moms? And we were communicating the huge difference that a woman can make in her community, in her home and in her community. A mom who can read to her children. A mom who can read and do math can help her children with schoolwork. Each year, about 30% of our students once advocated child marriage and no longer do. Because of their increased income, each year about 30% of our students once relied on child labor to help support the family and no longer do. And I'll share some more about trafficking in a minute, but the learning and the increased family incomes also help to prevent trafficking in India. So as you can see, as they're learning to read, write, and do math, their lives and their communities are changing. Some more focus on moms. So studies show that the single greatest factor in childhood flourishing is the education of the mother. Educated moms can read to their children and help with their schoolwork. And moms who have a basic education show less son preference, and they're more likely to educate their daughters as well as their sons. So we're seeing some wonderful things happening. Trafficking. More women and girls are trafficked in India than in any other country. And sadly, only 1 to 4% of people worldwide who are trafficked are ever rescued. So rescue is essential. We can't stop rescuing. But of course, if 100 people are trafficked and only 1 to 4% of them, 1 to 4 of them are ever rescued, we'll never see an end to trafficking through rescue. It will only get worse. So we have to prevent them from ever being taken. And that's how we serve in India. Trafficking is different in India because the families that we're serving among are the most vulnerable to trafficking, and the families traffic their own children. They can't feed all of their children. And so they'll traffic one so they can get some money and feed the rest of them. But as I mentioned, by the end of the school year, most of our families have been lifted above the poverty level, and they have the tools to increase their incomes. And this alleviates the financial pressure to traffic their own children. In addition, the whole village is brought together for the health unit and the social learning unit, so they learn about child marriages and how to prevent them. And they also learn about trafficking, the dangers of trafficking, what a trafficker look like, what a trafficker will say to them. And so you have a barrier of the whole community that is now looking out for traffickers and saying, no, you're not welcome here, and we know what you're doing. And so our goal is to see the day when there is not a village or a community in India where trafficker is welcome. You can follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and if there's news, we'll sometimes put it up on Twitter. We have virtual reality. I don't know if you've ever put the headsets on and We usually invite everybody to sit down and experience India and go into the village and experience class, but thanks to COVID, we are no longer doing that. So I wanted to recommend a book instead, so you could read to find out what life is like for some of the people that we serve. The book is Behind the Beautiful Forevers. It's written by New York Times bestseller Catherine Du. She is a Pulitzer Prize winning reporter, and it's historical narrative. It's about one of the Mumbai slum areas where we have offered classes. And it's an adult book. I would not recommend it for children or young adults. It's got some really graphic stories and language in it. But if that doesn't bother you, I would highly recommend this as a realistic view of life for the impoverished slum dwellers in India. It doesn't explore a lot of the issues facing women and girls, but nonetheless, it's an excellent book about poverty in slums. So before, I'd just like to thank you. Thank you for your support. Go ahead.
I'm just curious, so where, and I know that probably the United States will be included, but where are these trafficked women going?
Here.
United States?
Oh, in India, they're staying in India, and they also traffic from Nepal into India. They kill girls in India. There's female infanticide and sex-selective abortion and gross neglect. So the sex ratios are way off. It's like China. And so they can't find females to marry. And so it's just it's an ever decreasing cycle. They're often trafficked into certain states for forced marriage as brides. The brothels in India are prolific. There are stories of these hallways and hidden components where they hide people, and when they actually go to try to rescue them, they all scoot out and into these, so it's very difficult to find them once they're trapped.
Is there a dowry required to marry off a daughter? And
Yes.
Is that probably a financial burden?
Yes, yes, that's illegal, but it's very common, and we teach them that that's illegal. And that's another driver for child marriages, because it's cheapest to marry off a girl when she's young and she's uneducated. And none of this makes sense to me, but in their culture, this is all works for them. And so, well, it doesn't work, but it's what they have done for years. And so, among our students, the average age of marriage is around 12, and we know firsthand of stories of girls married 3 to 5 years of age. And when a girl in India is married, yeah, it's heartbreaking. She's pulled out of her home and she's pulled out of school. This is another reason why girls don't go to school a lot in India, because the women work in the homes from morning until night. And I've been in some of those homes and seen that the new daughter-in-law is the one that takes on all of the work. And so it's the cultural practices are difficult. Yes.
Now, what role, if any, does religion play in that whole situation?
Oh, well, that's the $1 million question. I don't really understand the Indian culture, so it's difficult for me. I know that there's a Hindu proverb that says, educating your own daughter is like watering a neighbor's flower pot. And some people would say it's very much about religion. Others would say it's cultural. And I think it's difficult to take a position on that. We just take the position that we're educating them about the government.
I know some areas in India are majority, it's very caste system. You talk about the untouchables, but even, I know many of them were not allowed to go to school, were not allowed to advance even if they got education because of the caste system. Once you're untouchable, you can't get out of that. Has that changed?
It's, again, the castes are there, but like if you'll try to talk about castes with an Indian person, they don't want to talk about it. But they're very aware of which caste they are and what caste everyone else is. And so the government has instituted some laws and some practices to try to allow them to go to school. It's a poor country in many places, especially in the areas where we serve. So if you go to the schools, They may be like a little area here that's dirt and the teacher is surrounded. I know we've had, anyway, they're not always at the schools you might be sure that they have a chance. Yes.
In that society, you said that you kind of train these people to make about our own business, and all of that. How is that accepted by that society where it's only going on in? Are they bragging, or they have problems? Or?
We have heard about problems that the students have with husbands not wanting them to go to class, and the husbands are welcomed in to help with that. I've never once heard a problem without a woman offering products to sell. So I don't think it's an issue. I do know, for example, one student who makes soap and then her husband would take them to sell in the local village. So traveling somewhere else might be frowned upon by the society, but I think selling them in the village is not an issue. Yes.
There are particular area or regions of India you work more in, where it's more prevalent, and how do you guys determine and establish where and when a class will be?
We focus on areas where there are higher rates of child marriage, but in other practices that are oppressive to women and girls, but we do have classes across the country. So if there's a local group that wants to offer our classes, we're gonna work with them. So like Rajasthan, we have a lot of students in Rajasthan because the rates of child marriage.
What part of India is Rajasthan?
If you're looking, okay.
You're sure has it. Yeah.
Yes, if you're looking at India, it's right up here.
Okay.
So it's close to Pakistan.
Right across the border, yes.
Okay, last question.
Yes.
Could you give us a personal insight? Why is India a passion for you? How did that begin?
I guess I'm an optimistic person, and when I see a problem, I believe very much that with persistence and wisdom, we can make a difference. And I practiced law, and then decided to stay home with my kids when they were in school. And when our youngest was ready to graduate, I thought, well, I've got probably one more career left in me, and I wanted to be one that I'm proud of, that I feel like it's worth. Honestly, when they first bought the house, something that would get my feet on the floor in the morning. And this has gotten my feet on the floor really every day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've got one more thing. Thank you. We appreciate it. Very much. Thank you.
Would you mind drawing our tickets? And then same number.
Last 3 digits.
594.
All right.
I've seen him before.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Okay, Bill did not win. Again. Okay, my
working for you, Bill.
closing thought for today. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. So, with that said, we will now have our fundraiser meeting immediately over here. It will not last long. And then next week, we will present to the club what we would like to do for our fundraiser and get everybody signed up for jobs for the fundraiser. So with that, we're done.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey,